What's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Open Door Podcast. I got a guest here with me today, good friend, good YouTube friend. The World According to Jim is his channel. So welcome, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about you're in the middle of fighting cancer, unfortunately, during COVID-19 here, during this pandemic. That must be crazy.
It can be difficult. I have what's known as a rare form of leukemia. It's bone marrow cancer.
Okay.
But the fortunate thing with the disease is that chemotherapy now can be done orally, so you don't have to go into the hospital and have a pick.
So like a pill, or how's that work?
Yeah, it's actually in pill form now.
Really?
I'm on my sixth therapy. The first time I was diagnosed was in 2004.
Wow.
I've had 4 remissions through that time.
Man.
The last 2 times when I relapsed, we believe it was because the medication basically, it's like anything you take for pain. The more you take it, the less it works.
Okay.
And unfortunately, fortunately, they keep coming up with new medications.
Yeah. That's
so
good,
it's basically chemotherapy in a pill now.
That's really cool. I didn't even know that.
But there's always the risk when you have leukemia or CMLs, what's mine called, is you run the risk of it becoming acute, and that's what's known as blastoma, where at that point you'll have to have a bone marrow transplant. That would be the only way for survival at that point.
So that's not so cute.
No, it's
get
not
that one
cute.
in there.
It is never. Yeah. So basically, CML is chronic, and what happened over the last month when I wasn't doing any videos is that basically it's like people who get COVID. You're incredibly tired. Your body aches. I had symptoms that I for sure thought I had COVID, but fortunately I don't. So that's the good thing, because with having an underlying condition, how that has been kind of the key phrase this year. It's a big fear, because with my wife working in a surgery center, we have a risk until she gets her vaccination or the vaccine.
No, she works at a surgery center. She doesn't have to work on like COVID patients or anything, right?
No, they are actually separate from the hospital. It is actually a surgery center where people come in and they do joint replacements, or if they've had a broken arm, it has to be reset by surgery. So they're very well CDC'd to death there, and they have to follow protocol, otherwise they cannot be open. The unfortunate thing was at the beginning of the pandemic, they closed the elective surgery centers down immediately.
Wow.
This time around, with the increase, as long as they follow the guidelines, they can stay open, and as long as there's no COVID that comes through the building as well.
Right. Welcome to the stream, Rob Vet, Hong Kong Explorer. Thank you guys for being here. How are you? So yeah, man. So you've been dealing with this since, you said, 2014?
2004 was the first time. So we're talking 16 years. Yeah, almost 9 years ago, I was set to go to OHSU up in Portland to have a bone marrow transplant.
Yeah.
And my wife was pregnant with Abigail, our 8-year-old at the time, our 8-year-old now. And within a week of me having to go up there, because they had found a match, they came out with a new therapy. And that would have been, at that time, I believe it was Gleevec. And so we took that I took that medication, and we saw a good result.
Yeah.
So we were able to not have to go in for a transplant. But since then, I've actually been through, like I say, an additional 5 therapies. Damn. The most recent one, for the people that are out there that might have a family member dealing with leukemia, it's called Iclusig. And this one fights the cancer a little bit differently. It attaches itself to the bad chromosomes in your bone marrow, and it keeps it from multiplying or keeping white blood cells from not fully forming.
Yeah.
Because it goes against your immune system all the way, and that's what draws you down. That's what causes the chronic pain. I've had a lot of bone loss density. I've already had one of my hips replaced, and they want to do the other one now, and that was done in 2014. That kind of tells you what the disease can do to you from the inside out.
That's crazy, man. You're a soldier though for fighting this for that long. Like, damn. That's gotta be rough.
It takes a great support group. I'm stubborn, and I think you've already noticed that when we've done some other live streams. And the crazy thing is like late at night you usually do your grow show.
Yeah.
By that time, I've already taken my medication, and I take about I'll show you a bag. I take a bag of medication.
Damn. Every day, all that.
Yes, because with taking an oral chemotherapy, there are so many side effects, and so in order to battle that, you have to take something else. So then you're taking muscle relaxants, you're taking some pretty potent pain pills, and I like my late night Fireball, and
man, Rob Red Vet, thank you for that $10, man.
Nice job there, Rob.
Nightbot and Ashley KG, thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
It's good to see everybody.
They hope that we are well. Hope you're well, they said. And oh, damn, I didn't renew this membership. Sorry. No, you're good, Nightbot. No worries, man. Looking great, Jim. Hope you're well. You can't be held down. Good job, mate, he says. Yeah.
No. But I was going to tell you is like when we were doing the live streams, I can become a little stubborn, and I don't want anybody to take it personally. It just probably, like if I'm on yours, you just got to say, "Hey, Jim, it's time to chill." A lot of times you can even without drinking. I go out and walk. I have insomnia so bad that then you have to take a sleeping medication on top of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember the Tiger Woods situation when he was in really bad pain after his back surgeries, and they found him parked on the side of the road, taking. I think at that point I forget which one he was taking, but it's Ambien. I think is what he was taking.
Didn't he crash? Did he crash a car?
No, I think he hit the curb and was parked on the side of the road.
Okay.
I still think that video is on YouTube. But you can tell that he was coherent, but he didn't know where he was. And it's not because he was taking illicit drugs. It was because he was on pain pills with a sleeping medication. He didn't even know he left his house.
Whenever you say his name, I think of his wife throwing a golf club through his windshield.
When he's trying to back out of their driveway, yeah. That's his own undoing back then. But it doesn't change the talent, which I think we all agree that on the golf course for many years, he's amazing.
Yeah. It's because he was cheating on her, probably, huh? Something like that.
Yeah, allegedly, there was several allegedly. So
I want to say allegedly. I don't want to be sued by Tiger Woods.
No, and it is allegedly because and when you are a billionaire, there's always going to be those that are out there to make a little extra money, but you have to believe some of them too, because their stories seem, valid.
Thank you, Rob Vet. That's an awesome super chat. Eddie says you'll be in their prayers. So thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
So I can understand you a little bit because my roommate had he survived anal cancer. He couldn't even use his ass, basically. Like, he had a colostomy bag.
Right.
And it was funny when he first moved in, when I met him. It was almost like he was proud to show it off. Like, when he was moving in, he was like, "And I've got this." He lifted up his shirt, and I'm like, "Oh, my God.
He's got his bag. Yeah.
It was like a shock to me when he showed it to me. I'm like, "Oh, my God, I don't want to see that," Me and him become real good friends, and he played, like Call of Duty type games, and we play together, all kinds of games together, Elder Scrolls Online, all that, and we got along well, and he had his side of the fridge, and I had mine, and never ate my food, and I never ate his, and it just worked well, and
It's
Eventually,
hard to find a good
unfortunately,
roommate, huh? It's hard to
yeah,
find good people.
right.
Yeah,
So
and when they're
eventually,
gone, it's sad.
yeah, eventually he got another cancer in his. I guess he had it kind of in his head, in his spine as well, and
Multiple myeloma. I'm sure that's
yeah.
probably what it was.
And then like
And
when it gets to the spine, there's like nothing you can do pretty much. I guess it's the worst one. I don't know,
yeah,
but
my dad will been he passed March of 2017 from multiple myeloma. He actually had the cancer on his spine and his back. They did remove it and they had to fuse his back, but by that point it had already spread. He fought the great battle for over a year with kind of keeping it under wraps. But
yeah,
in the end, it got to be too much going in for radiation and chemotherapy. And my stepmom called us one day and said, "Hey, I don't think he's going to make the day. He's coming home," because he wanted to pass it home. We drove from Boise, Idaho, down to the San Francisco Bay Area. Made it there, 6 hours to spare. Got to be with
yeah,
him for a few hours before he passed. That's not anything I ever want to visit again.
yeah. That's
It
hard.
is the hardest thing, and I'm sure other people that have been through it understand that that's the lasting impression in your mind because that's
Yeah,
the last time you get to be with them.
yeah,
And I don't wish that on anybody. And like with your roommate, I'm not sure what form he had, but it it
yeah,
it seemed to be that he was in so much pain, and it was time. He just wanted to not burden my stepmother anymore, and I can appreciate that.
yeah.
Um, Great man. He worked tirelessly for 55 years in the roller skating business. He owned at one point he had over 7 roller skating rinks. He
Okay.
was on the IOC committee, and he was also on what's called FIRS, which is the Federation of International Roller Skating. He
Mm,
fought it in the Summer Olympics in Spain many years ago, and
yeah,
unfortunately, this sport just didn't stick. The Olympics the IOC is a tough haul, and
right.
we always appreciated it because it fed the family. We had a great upbringing.
Yeah,
I have 2 great stepsisters and stepbrother that I've been around my whole life.
yeah.
Um, my brother and my youngest sister, they were world champions in roller skating, and I was fortunate enough to be a national champion. Never got to
Oh
compete in
shit.
worlds, but we had a lot of fun. I mean, and a lot of people made fun of us because of the sport we did. But then one thing they didn't realize is even though I did artistic skating, I also played hockey.
Yeah.
So I lost teeth. I've had my lip torn off.
That's
I've been in
crazy.
some really gnarly fights. Younger days, I had
Yeah.
mass stitches. That's why I always have like the goatee.
Yeah.
And, and but hey, man, I'm thankful for the life I have and how long I've lived because, like I say,
Yeah.
I just had my 55th birthday, and when this came about 16 years ago, I didn't think I was going to live to be 45. So
Damn.
I am damn glad to
Well,
be here.
I'm glad you're making it and kicking that cancer's ass. So, oh yeah, that's what's up, man. I got a
Yeah,
lot of chats here. Oh my god, there's a lot of people here that love us, man. Thank you guys so much. Let's see here. Let me try to catch up a little bit. Let's see here. Nightbot says all the love from your huge, amazing online family and your beautiful real life family will get you through anything. Jim, you are inspiring. I hope to hold myself as well as you someday. And Hong Kong Explorer says, "Oh, so sad." Yeah. Robert Vet says, "You asked about the camera I got. It's a Canon XF 705 4K. That's what I got from my wife. She must really love me. Hell yeah, man. I'm
awesome.
happy to know that. That sounds like a really good camera. Is that like some type of a DSLR? Jelly Duck, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, Climber. Thank you for being here. Are you still making videos? Haven't been notified. Ashley's asking you. Yeah, you've had a video not too long ago His link is in the description, guys. If you want to go support Jim, I've got it in the description.
It's been about 3 weeks, and I will be getting back out there and doing it again. It's just having the willpower to get out, and because a lot of the times, if you watch some of my videos, I do a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Because I'm going down to the river, or I'm going up to the mountains somewhere, or I'm,
healthy. Therapeutic, yeah.
But the difficult part is, I live at about just about 4,000 feet here, and where I film most of my stuff is over 7,000 feet. So I get a little winded.
Yeah.
I've made my 8-year-old go on some climbs with me when we went up Lava Butte, and when we went across what looked like Mars. The river walks, I've taken her on a couple where we've gone about 4 or 5 miles to do 10 minutes of video.
Yeah.
So
cool.
There's more in the line. I think the last couple I did were full moons when we had the harvest moon, and one of the other ones before.
I like those videos. Those are cool.
Yeah, and I'm experimenting because I have a great camera that's really high def. So when I take a photograph, I mean, they come out really nice. And the video, the quality, everything's 1080p. So as long as people are in the right format, they'll see that. And I'm trying to always put it in the description to make sure that they go to 1080.
Oh, that's good. To tell them about that.
Yeah, but I'm still learning. I like I've said before in the past is, I did radio, so I was on the other side. I wasn't on the video side. So the editing was different when we would do commercials.
For sure.
But it's fun, and I try to keep it simple and add some photographs with some video, and I want more music. The type, like the kind you will play during your live show. I like that kind of like a low techno kind of cool sound.
Energetic. I want energy.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I mean. It's almost a house vibe mixed with a smooth kind of cool jazz in it.
Kind of gives it like a party feel, like let's have a good time here and hang out,
Yeah, and that's how I was doing the drive videos when we were driving in the snow, put kind of some cool techno, cool vibe behind the background.
Right.
And I know a lot of people say, oh, you don't come on camera. Well, my channel's really focused on nature and the mountains and the snow, and really last year it was going to be fishing too, but with COVID, the restrictions that were on us, I did a little bit of kayaking and not a lot of fishing. I have a lot of photographs, but I didn't video. So I don't know if people want me to share the videos of these big, beautiful browns, if that works or not.
Put them all on Instagram, your photographs, and then hashtags so you get views on them, and upload one like every day. That's kind of the strategy. And maybe you can grow an Instagram channel. You never know. Nightmare says, okay, go ahead. I got a million chats.
Go ahead, you catch up.
Okay. And I want to talk more about Tony, my roommate. I was trying to get back to that. And we've got a lot of people in here. Thank you, guys. My best friend had cancer removed from his brain. It's about 3 weeks ago. He went from great to feeling dizzy to hospital in the space of 4 days. Still there now. Can't even visit due to Corona. Dang. Sorry, man. Yeah. I hope your friend makes it through that. That sounds crazy. Oh, my God. When Tony had the bone cancer, they had sent him a caretaker, and she was only allowed to be there for like 5 hours per day, which is not very often. And
that's
I'm,
wild.
Doing YouTube full time, working, here at the store full time. I don't have time to do much for him. Like I could do like little things here and there, but they were trying to put weight on me, and I was like, this can't happen. Like he would take all his drugs. He had a lot of drugs to take too, a lot of pills they gave him, and he would hallucinate and start walking around when he should have just laid down and relaxed. And he would. I remember one day he pounded on my door. He's pounding on my door at 6 a.m. I'm finally getting to sleep, and I don't know how many times I picked him up off the ground because he kept falling over. No, he's pounding on my door and he's saying, I'm cleaning the house because no one will clean the house. I'm like, go back to bed. I got mad and I kind of raised my voice, and I felt so bad afterwards. I was like, go back to bed. What are you doing? And eventually I told them, I said, I can't do this anymore. You need to get him in some kind of a home or
Right.
something. And so what they did was they pulled some strings or something, and they called 911 and said, he doesn't have anybody here or something, come get him. And then after that, they moved him into a home. What that did was it took him off of hospice or whatever, and then
Right.
the
Right.
hospital was able to get him to a home or something. So some kind of a trick that they pulled to get that to happen, and I was glad that they did. But then
Yeah.
eventually, I finally went to go visit him in the nursing home, and it was the hardest thing ever because I said my goodbye to him, but he still lived for like another week and a half after that. So it's
Oh
like
boy.
I felt guilty, and I was like, man, I need to go visit him again or what. Um, and then eventually they said he had passed. Um, but yeah, it was the hardest thing saying goodbye to him, knowing it's the last time. And I
Yeah.
know they had him on some really good stuff, like morphine or something
Oh,
really
morphine.
strong.
Yeah. And drip. They probably had him on a drip. That's my dad was that way.
Yeah. But yeah, I was a little peeved because the nursing home people had called me in and said I can come get his belongings, and he had a brand new iPhone, and I was thinking, shit, maybe I'll use that for vlogging, because at the time I had this one, the 7, and he
Right.
had the 10X or whatever it was, and I was like, okay, well, I'll go get the phone and have something new for vlogging, and then they'll tell me what's going on if I can go visit him at a funeral or what's going on with that. So I went, and they said they had to keep the phone. They said, we got to keep the phone. We need it for evidence. And they said they would call me when I could have the phone. They never called me, so I never got
No.
the damn phone. $1,000 phone. They just stole it. I guess they did. I don't know.
Well,
That's
yeah.
crazy,
What do
right?
they need it for evidence for? That's the curious thing.
Evidence to find if he has any other family or something. And I'm like, he
Oh,
literally
okay. So
just got this phone. There's nobody on that phone. I guarantee there was nobody in his contacts. Like, he doesn't even talk to anybody. So it was
yeah.
just sully, and I was just like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it felt weird for a while in the house without him. I got used to it. Now I'm used to being alone, and I could have gotten a roommate and helped with my rent, because right now I'm paying a full 700 when I was used to paying like 400. So, but it's all
Yeah.
good. I'm just gonna keep doing it that way. I think it's kind of nice having your own privacy. You don't have to put on clothes when you go to the bathroom. Shit. But yeah, so I guess there's
Oh,
probably,
you're in for it. Once you get married,
oh yeah, probably right.
you'll be
Clyde,
excited. You'll go through
Clymer,
the
thank you for
honeymoon
being here.
phase.
Clymer, Ashley still here. Let's see here. Jim, oh shit, what happened to the chat here? Here, I'll probably just go on here. It's easier. We'll
Go for
catch
it.
up here. Um, Clymer says hello, Carl and Jim. She says hello to Rob. Catching up. Jim, glad to see you're okay, says Clymer. Clymer, welcome to the Mod Squad. I need some cheering sound effects. High five to you, Jim, says Rob Vet. So glad to hear your story and send you support and prayers. Unsubscribe to him. Nice. Yeah, his link's in the description, guys. If you want to support Jim, that would be really cool of y'all. Let's see. It says Clymer says it's inspirational, motivational. May the force be with you, God with you, Jim. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I never went hiking like that at 8 years old, says Nightbat. Great job to you and your daughter. Ret says going to be at DC on January 6th. Washington, DC. What you doing there, Rob? Where are you from anyway, Rob? I don't know. Let me know where you're from and what you're doing in DC. Keep the high spirit with you, Jim, says Hong Kong Explorer. You're so brave. I salute you, she says. Jim, why you upload those music while go walk or mountains? That would be nice. Oh, yeah, for sure, right? Let's see here. Nature centers the soul, makes a person breathe. Yeah, and like when you go up into like the mountains, that mountain air, there's nothing like that, you know.
Out on a kayak on a lake,
Heck yeah.
and there's several days I go up in the middle of the week and there's just nobody there. It's just me.
I just,
And you see the bald eagles.
yeah, for sure. I just got a text from 503 Inferno, and I'll tell you, you guys are gonna laugh. He says, "Very sorry about your mom, and I hope everything turns out okay in Hawaii." You know the video that I'm talking about? That was 2 years ago. I think everything's fine with Hawaii right now. Yeah, you guys don't know. Jim knows. I don't know if all y'all know, but I was featured on a video on a channel called Vice. They have almost 14 million subscribers, and I'm in that video 3 freaking times. It's their latest video, I think, right now. It's about the Hawaii ballistic missile false alarm thing. Some guy in Hawaii accidentally hit the wrong button and sent a false alarm to millions of cell phones, and everybody in Hawaii got a notification that there's a missile heading their way, a ballistic missile. This is not a drill, and everybody thought they were dying over there, and I thought I was going to lose my mom. My mom basically said her goodbyes to me, and I was in tears. I really thought I was going to lose my mom over a missile. And man, if that would have happened, I probably would have joined the military or something. I don't know what I would have done, because I would have lost my shit if that would have happened. For real.
A lot of people like 9/11. That's what they did after they joined the military to do their part.
If you lose family and it's to like war, then you want to go to war and you want to fight for your family or avenge them or something. I don't know.
That was a wild time back then, I'll tell you. So, my 2 older kids, they were 4 and 5 during 9/11, and we just remember sitting there watching the TV, going, "Nothing's going to be the same again." I mean, it was wild. And now here, look what we're dealing with in 2020, and we're all saying it again. Nothing's going to be the same. We hope it will be. We hope we can get back to doing things again.
Right.
Because that's the other thing I'd like to do is we like to go to Disneyland, and we always seem to get our season passes. And now it's been, I think, since last January, since we've been there, and they've been closed since I think March. Dang. So it's crazy. Even though Disney World's open in Florida and Disney California can't.
Yeah, Florida's been kind of lenient with COVID restrictions, I think.
Yeah, but they really
strict.
They can't trace any cases back to Disney World that I'm aware of, unless somebody in the chat knows. So they've been able to stay open. The same with Universal Studios in Orlando, and it just at about 25 to 30% capacity. But can you imagine being able to go to these amusement parks that normally you wait 2 and 3 hours in a line, and now you can jump on a ride? I miss when they opened Star Wars up, the Star Wars land, and then here we were getting ready for Ride of the Resistance last January, and we went to the park and we couldn't get a reservation then, and now nobody's riding it in California. They are in Florida.
Crazy.
So, but you got to feel for all the people that have lost family during this time. I mean, that's the scary part. I still have my aunts and uncles that are, in their mid 70s. They all have underlying conditions, and most of them live in California. So it's scary. I pray for them every day and hope that nothing happens down there. And I hope they get that vaccine in that state as quick as they can and really start, pumping it out.
I think California's got another string that they're trying to track down or something now.
30,000 cases a day. That's just crazy. I mean, that's almost as many as the whole country had back 2 months ago. So that just tells you there's 45, 50 million people in California. And even being locked down in a lot of the areas, it's just rampant. And I think a lot of it is us getting together, and unfortunately, when it gets into the elderly, that's when you start to see, the higher death rates. I know you're in Washington, where you guys really experienced probably the first cases, in the country, and then in New York.
Right. So Rob Brett says, I buried my son, and it's the hardest thing to get through. May God bless you and keep you safe in the palm of his hand. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, I don't know how I would deal with that. I just
That's
wow.
that's the hardest thing. That's gonna be harder than losing a parent, I think. Like losing a parent isn't fun, and that's like one of the hardest things that I'll ever have to go through probably. But losing a son, I feel like that's worse.
Yeah,
Because they're supposed to outlive you,
yeah,
It's crazy.
your kids are supposed to take care of you when you're older, because you take care
Yeah,
of them when they're younger, and they take care of you when you're older. And
yeah,
the joke is always you change their diapers when they're little, and they change our diapers when we're older.
right.
And it's just that's how it's supposed to be. It's not to see your kids die before you. And I don't know how he lost his son, but even if it's military or disease or whatever, it's difficult. I worry about it every day with my kids.
Hong Kong Explorer said she had a daughter who passed away due to blood cancer 20 years ago. My gosh, I'm
Yeah,
so
that's
sorry.
my fear too. It's just I when I was first diagnosed as dying young at that point.
Yeah,
Um, and with having Abigail and being 8, when we knew we were going to have another child, it was a motivation to not die. I mean, I had every reason to keep going.
essentially, she
And
saved her life.
I think
Like
I
I
you know
gotta
what?
live
I
for her.
really think excuse me, I think it pissed me off, and I didn't want to die. At that point, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I have too much to live for.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I wanted to see my elder kids have my grandkids, which I have one and another one, and they have another one on the way. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I've got an 8-year-old who's an aunt,
That's
to a
funny.
2-year-old. So it's
Right.
kind of crazy because as my wife
Uh,
says, it's our little blessing that we were able to have a child. Neither one of us thought we could have a child. I thought with going through chemotherapy and being the age we
yeah.
were at the time, I was in my 40s. I thought, with what was going on, they made it sound like I wouldn't be able to,
Well,
you
I'm
know.
glad you were able to. That's cool, man.
Oh,
That's really cool.
we were in shock. At first it was shock,
I bet.
then it was excitement, and then there was
Right.
sorrow and worry that because of what I was getting ready to go through, that we weren't sure. Because when you go in for a transplant, when you're at a certain point with your leukemia, the risk is about 50-50 surviving on the other side of a bone marrow transplant,
Well,
or that
Ashley.
it doesn't take.
Thank you, Ashley. She sent $10. So thank you for having Jim on today. God bless everyone. Thank you, Ashley. That's really cool. And then I guess Rob said something. He said, Commander, wait, am I getting the right messages? Oh, you said a couple things. He says, we are so happy we found your channel and sure enjoy listening and chatting with you and your guests. You have an awesome chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wayne always says he has the best chat. I don't know. I mean, I like my chat. I think we have the same chat though, because I have a lot of his people and he has a lot of mine. So live in
Yeah,
Arizona, moving to Idaho, Sandpoint area. Okay, nice. That's what's up.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
too far, Arizona. You got another message here. It says I go to almost all the stops, the steel rallies, and many of the BLM as security to watch over our people and record everything in the case there's trouble. I am very patriotic American. Oh yeah, that's what's up, man. I love our country. I love our country too, man. And I don't want to lose it to China. I want us to keep our country. And I kind of wish Trump would still be president, but I don't know what's gonna happen. Probably we'll have to wait till next term or whatever. But Buzzville, USA, what's going on? God bless whoever goes through cancer. Yeah, no shit, right? Hey, it can be easy. I don't even know. Like, I just know people have been through it. Like, I don't know personally what that's like, but I can imagine it's very painful and uh, it's hard. You probably go through a lot of emotions because of it, and you know, I understand that. Uh, but I think you're doing well, man. You're kicking ass. So
Well, you have
soon,
to.
soon.
you have to just at some point just say, you got to keep moving along and stay busy.
Right. One day you are not going to have any cancer. You'll be done with this, man.
And that's the thing, is that I'm fortunate enough that it could run its course, or it could do a 180 and get really bad quickly. And so that's why we're always on top of it, and I'm having blood work done all the time. I have what's called a PCR able test that they do, and that tells you basically your perforated levels of everything to make sure they know where, your white blood cell count is. Make sure that you're producing the right white cells instead of the bad ones in your bone marrow. Because when things get crappy, and they do, you just have to just keep trudging forward, take your medication, do your chemotherapy, and hope for the best. And
I think it's kind of like anything in life, like just focus on the positive and not worry about negative shit that like you have no control over. Like just focus on what you can change and what you can do, and just things to be grateful for, right? Because it never does really good to like get so emotional and worked up or sad or upset about something. Like it's better to just try to control those emotions and try to find happiness no matter what you're going through. Yeah.
Well, there are difficult days. I'm not going to tell you, because it's like some days you take. I take things personally, and people don't mean to be, to be mean. They don't know what you're going through, and you think everybody does, but it's not like they can't see it. Most people say, "Oh, you don't look sick," or "Oh, you have cancer, but you seem all right." It's not like losing a limb where they can look at you and go, "Oh, this person, something's happening." Leukemia is one of the stranger ones, because it's how it reacts different in different ages. Like children, leukemia is horrible. It is one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. When our daughter was born, she had what's called bladder exstrophy. That means her bladder was on the outside of her body at birth. And we were up at the hospital in Portland called Dornbeckers. And on the IC unit, most of the leukemia patients were there. And the most horrific and hardest thing for us is we would be in our little isolated room with our daughter, and you would hear these parents they're bawling. And the next thing you know, we find out that their child had passed.
Dang.
So we were fortunate enough that our daughter was able to get the surgery she needed to be able to reconstruct her bladder and put it where it belonged. And now she's 25, and she's probably going to have another surgery at some point to expand the bladder, because they had to use her intestines to create a bladder. It's amazing what our doctors can do in science. And so we've had that blessing, my blessing. I'm still here, so I don't take cancer personal, because you can't. You could be healthy all the way up to 50, Commander, and then at the 51 in one day, you all of a sudden you're going, I don't feel right. Because that's when we go back to 2003, I just wasn't feeling right. And I was like 220, 225, somewhere in there. And the next thing I'm 170. And I'm going, I don't feel right. I got like an infection in my nose. And the next thing, my nose was black. I mean, it literally looked like I climbed Mount Everest. And then I got a hole in between your septum. It's called a perforated septum. And they thought I had like some kind of like disease, like Ebola or something like that. And so they quarantined me in a room at the hospital and wouldn't let anybody come around me. And it wasn't until I went to my regular general doctor. He says, "We're going to do some blood work." And that's how they found out I had leukemia, and it wasn't some disease. I mean, cancer is a disease, but I could have died before they diagnosed me, because the emergency room, when they put me up in the ICU, they just, they said, "You had something, we're not sure, but you'll be okay."
Yeah.
And I went home and I'm like, I'm still not okay, even though my nose had healed, because they give you stuff to make sure that they can fight that infection. Back then, I want to say it was not hydrocodone. It was before they came up with leukemia therapies. They basically to try and keep your white blood cell count down. It's been so many years since I took that medication, but it didn't stop the disease. And I thank the good lucky stars, God, whatever, that my doctor said, hey, we're going to do blood work. We're going to find out what's really going on. And he caught it early, even though I'd had it for 6 months and didn't realize it.
That's crazy.
And he got me on one of the first therapies in the country at that time. It worked great for about 2 years. I went into remission. I went around for about 6 months thinking I was great, feeling good. I woke up one day and my feet were like 20 times the size they should have been.
Oh,
yeah, I had clubfoot, and I thought, what the heck is going on?
That ain't right.
Everything got to my feet, everything.
That's
and
crazy.
I had relapsed pretty bad, and they told me then, if you don't do a transplant, you probably won't make it that year. And fortunately, another therapy came out. We call it scrap therapy now because it's what it is. Each time a new one comes out, it only works so long, and then you scrap it.
Yeah.
It's like people that become addicted to pain pills because it stops working. So before you know it, they're popping 20 and 30 of these Oxycontins or hydrocodone or whatever it happens to be. And I was doing that too because the pain was so bad. And now I won't touch any of that. I'll use like what the one's called meloxicam, which is more of a muscle relaxant now.
Yeah.
Like I say, I think I take 14 different medications, but the main one is Iclusig. Without that, I wouldn't be here. I think the people the ones that have created it, it's like the vaccination that's out for COVID. Without it, how many people would end up dying by the end of next year? So
right.
I hope it works the way they say it does. And anybody that goes through any type of leukemia, whether it's CML, AML, ALL, make sure you see the right doctors. Go to a major hospital. Mine was Oregon Health and Science University. I just happened to have the doctor that had created the first scrap therapy, I call it, which was Gleevec. If I hadn't, and it's funny, his name was Dr. Morrow, like your bone marrow.
God. That's
now
funny.
he works for Johns Hopkins, and he was one of the people that was helping with the vaccination. One of the first ones that basically worked with biotech and the other therapy that's coming out. I think it's Pfizer. I might get the wrong name there, but it's amazing Pfizer. Some of these analytical and scientific brains, what they come up with once they have the genome markings and could figure it out. And it's the same with almost any disease.
Yeah, sounds like a smart guy for sure.
The fact that they think they can now probably find a cure for AIDS because of this vaccination for COVID, that could save a lot of lives there too, because that's been around since the late 70s and 80s.
My mom's got a stock she's invested in. It's called Cytoden. They've been working on that for a while, and they're coming through with some breakthroughs and working on COVID. And I know she bought it at like 50 cents a share, and now it's like $5 a share. So she's made pretty good on it. And she says it's going to explode and go like maybe $100 a share or something crazy. So I don't know. I might get involved with that one. I don't know.
You can't get hurt at the bottom if you buy it cheap enough, and if it dissolves and disappears or gets bought out, you jump on it.
Just depends on how much you throw on it. But if it's something that could 100x or 1000x, if you throw like even $100, $200 on it, it's gonna make you so much money. If it happens. So and if you lose, then you just lose $100 or $200, right?
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I want to get like a bunch of different ones where I put a few $100s in, and then hopefully get the lucky ticket. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Budsville says my gut twist, and I get anxiety about thinking about the C word. Yeah, I understand. And then so Armando Martinez says, "Is COVID real?" Yeah, I think it's real. I don't think you can make it up. I'm sure if it was something that was made up, I'm sure it would be in the mainstream media. Everybody be talking about how it's fake. If it was actually fake, but it's not.
I wish my wife was on here because some of the nurses that she does work with, they also work in the hospital as well, and they work on the ICU, the COVID unit. and just having those conversations with them, I would have to say that it is definitely real. It's unfortunate. Because most people know Corona's been around a long time. It's just was in different forms. This one just had a vicious cycle, and it, infected people quite quickly, and it's amazing how fast it moved around the world. And to be honest with you,
and just because we don't have it or didn't get it or don't know anybody around our immediate circle that has it doesn't mean it's fake. Like,
and you don't know if you've had it or not. As a younger healthy person,
might have
unless you have
no
that
symptoms.
test.
Right. What do they call it?
Asymptomatic?
Asymptomatic. Yeah, I might be that. Yeah. And I might have had it because there was a couple times since March that I haven't felt good. And there was a time when I had a cold for like 3 weeks. I don't know what that was, but
I was reading there, Hong Kong explorer. Her daughter passed away at 5 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
tough.
Sorry, Hong Kong. I'm really sorry.
Blessings to you, that's for sure.
Rob Vet says my son was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2015. My God, man.
Yeah. I'm sorry for that, Rob. That's tough because those guys were over there just trying to protect us, trying to make sure that things didn't get out of hand. And that's an invisible war for a lot of people because we just sit around here and we don't think about it.
Big thanks to your son for his sacrifice for our country. That's what he's done is amazing.
The ultimate sacrifice, yes.
Nobody can forget him, for what he's done.
No. And I would assume if he's going to D.C., that he might be going to one of the memorials there for that. Yeah, I didn't see in the chat that if he said that was what he was going to Washington for. But I know a lot of people go there to the memorials.
Yeah. Hong Kong explorer, I didn't even know that. You are in our prayers for that. I didn't know.
Absolutely.
I'm really sorry. I do have to wrap this up really quick because I do have to go back to work soon. Jansport TV, how you doing? Thank you for being here. You're always supporting, no matter what channel I'm on. I see Jansport TV lately, so thank you. And also Nightbot and Rob, Vet and Ashley, you guys are like always there. So thank you so much for that. Got to clean the camera, Commander. Looks like you have spots.
I think it's a reflection on your windshield.
Yeah, it's right here. And you can see.
The shadowing.
It's all good. Yeah, shadowing is all. Yeah, I'm in the car. That's what we do. We do podcasts from the car. Joe Rogan doesn't do this. But, this gives me an edge over Joe Rogan because I don't have to have people to my studio and I can have international audience going through Zoom or StreamYard. So it's pretty cool. I think Joe Rogan should adapt to that. I don't know.
I think that new studio he has, isn't it mobile too? I mean, the newest one he's using? I think that's mobile.
I don't know. Maybe that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I'd have to check it out. I like him a lot. Big inspiration. 100%.
Some of his podcasts are amazing. Some of the people he's interviewed. I have to agree.
Yeah. Didn't he have like a presidential candidate?
He's had Snowden. He's had some tech people. I think we lost you. Here you go.
No, I had an alarm go off on the phone, so that's my 5-minute warning. I was just wondering didn't we have like Biden on his podcast? Was it Biden or was it? It was another candidate maybe. I know he had that woman that was running for president. Forget what her name was. I don't know, but yeah, he's had a lot of big names on his podcast. That'd be pretty crazy to have any of those people.
Well, it'll all of a sudden happen one day. You watch.
Right,
you might be surprised who's been in your show watching you. You never know.
Yeah, well, just like today, I just got featured on a 14 million subscriber channel. Like, that's kind of crazy. Not many people can say that. So
nope,
that's pretty cool.
No, unless you super chat on one of them and they mention you. I mean, that's probably the only other way, right?
Right, and for a channel that size, you'd have to super chat at least like $100 for them to even say anything about you. Probably, most of them anyway. share it on the podcast on my YouTube channel. Probably won't do much, but I'll try. Thank you, Nightbot. It's always appreciated, man. They are counting pneumonia, influenza as
I
COVID or
agree.
whatever. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. And that's another thing they talk about here at the hospital is that the nurses are kind of going, hey, you know how the flu has disappeared, pneumonia's disappeared,
right.
elderly people aren't dying anymore of natural causes. Every one of them is COVID. So that's an open for debate. I don't take sides on any of this stuff. I'm really apolitical. I just want to see every country happy, especially our country. Right. Am I scared right now about what's happening with a lot of people here? Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Ocean Gamer, welcome to the stream. Doing good. Rob Vet says I did 4 tours in Afghanistan, 3 tours in Iraq. Jesus, man.
Wow.
Thank you for your service, man. You're awesome.
Holy moly.
For what you've done. Thank you.
Wow.
The fan
That's
is here.
Putting it out there. That is really putting it out there.
Right. The fan is here. Says, hi, Commander. I'm here for Nightbot. I'll thank you, the fan. Thank you for coming in. I know Ocean Gamer comes from Nightbot as well. Says Ocean Gamer says, I love every podcast. Thank you. I appreciate that. Catherine, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. I do have to end this thing, man. It's time for me to go back to work. And fortunately, man, just make sure I don't forget anybody. Trending Live TV, thank you for being here.
Hi,
everybody. If you guys can like and share the stream, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. And also support The World According to Jim. I put his link in the description, just barely under the first paragraph. You can see his link right there. And if you guys want to support him, he's a pretty awesome guy, and I really appreciate you for coming up and telling your story, man. I know there's probably more to talk about, but I do got to go back. That's the thing when I do these lunchtime podcasts for my car. I only have so much time. But you know, it's fun to do it, and it's just amazing that I'm monetized on all 3 channels, and I'm just so blessed. I'm so happy, you know, because soon I won't have my day job to worry about, and cryptocurrency trading starting to take off for me. I'm actually starting to make money from that. So
Atari,
I think,
right? Isn't it Atari you're in?
Yeah, that one's really helping me out right now, and you know, there's a few others I'm getting into, and I'm starting to smarten up and diversify, because if I can have my hand in 10 or 20 of them at the same time, I never get bored, and there's always something I can play with, and I can always take profits from one. And if one is down or is sitting still, I just leave it alone until it actually gets to the green. You know what I mean? So I think I've got a good plan, and so I'm just like throwing everything I can in there, but I'm trying not to do all my eggs in one basket. And just spread it out, you know. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Absolutely. Be smart with your money.
I think
smart with your money, make it last.
I think I'll have probably twice as much as what I need for the Philippines when it comes to April. I think that's where I'm going to be at. So pretty crazy. But yeah, we're kicking butt on that. So life's good. I'm happy and I'm blessed, and yeah, I don't have anything to worry about. Soon we'll be financially fit and financially free and debt free, and life will start getting good. So Rob says you stay real and look towards inspiration for all of us with different topics and not stuck in any ruts. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm always asking you guys if you have any ideas for a topic, or if any of y'all want to come up, you have something you could talk about. I'm definitely interested. Just hit me in the comment section. Say, hey man, I've got this topic. I want to talk about this, or something, or give me an idea or something. That's always helpful.
We need to do some Las Vegas stuff. We need to do some classic Las Vegas.
Okay, I'm interested. We'll have to get Neon on that, and
absolutely,
we'll have you up again for that.
Have a conversation for hours about Vegas. So yeah.
Okay, and I can learn about Vegas, because I don't know much about it other than what you guys talk about. So, yeah, we'll make a plan for that. Sounds good. Maybe within a week. Within the next 7 days or sooner. I don't know. So, all right, I better go. I got to go back to work. So smash that like, subscribe if you haven't already. Support Jim. His links in the description, guys. World According to Jim. The World According to Jim. All right, guys.
Peace.
See y'all later. Peace out.